So go ahead and start the slides.
He's got it.
Is he got, well, he's got the overhead thing.
It's a-
So this is, of course, the scavenger hunt. This is the second year we've done this. And we've done this in honor of our great member, Dub Schultz. It's a fundraiser for the club. And Jana and I, as chairs of your social committee, have really tried to put together something that's competitive and fun, but most important, it fosters our sense of self and place. This is something that we do to kind of help us connect to our community as well as raise money. We can't really do this. I mean, we've got this great brain trust of people, and so many people contribute. But this year, we had, of course, Ray Smith, Ray Garrett, and Sue Byrne were all participants and judges and helping us come up with ideas and looking at the results. And we came up with some conclusions that while we think we were gracious, we gave partial credit, we gave it when there was credit to be given, we gave it, but we're going to get some final results. But we need to introduce our three teams. Now, representing, I don't see Emily Jernigan here today, but Tom's going to represent Is It Fun? Jim Rushton or Jim Palmer, I saw Jim Palmer, their team, the Westwood Wildcats. And then Tony Wright's The Little Team That Could participate. Anyhow, let's go over how we did our scoring.
So we're going to see pictures here behind me a little bit. There's some stop points that I'm going to talk a little bit about, but if you participated in the scavenger hunt, would you just stand up for a moment? I just want to recognize you guys because these guys did give not only money, but their Saturday morning. Tom, you stand up, you did it. And then several people also gave gifts to the foundation that weren't able to participate in the scavenger hunt. So we just want to thank everybody for participating. Okay, so we gave team composition points. We gave points for a new club member since July of 2021. So that's in this year. And I believe all three teams had a new club member involved, a member of another Rotary Club, a prospective member of our Rotary Club, and we gave points for people who were Paul Harris Fellows. So remember that for next year as you put your teams together. All right, so some of the questions. What? Okay. Here are the questions. There were 14 questions, not quite as many as last year, but this year there were actually scavenging involved. So a rock solid business was hired as the first subcontractor at Clinton Engineering Works, later known as Oak Ridge, and celebrated its 75th anniversary on site with the city of Oak Ridge in 2017. The company moved to its current location in 1956. By 1957, the contract with AEC ended and the company began business as an independent operation. So this is, whoops, let's go to slide 5. Yep, there we go. This was the office of Rogers Group. If you had never been down Rogers Road, this is what it looks like. There was 5 points for taking a picture with one of the signs. And then I said, be adventurous for another 5 points and find the office. So this was the office. All right. Question 2, the last remaining residential structure built within Oak Ridge during the 19th century is not accessible due to closed roads. No trespassing U.S. government property for official use only. However, the historical marker can be accessed. Locate this marker and take a group picture. And that was Friel's Bend Cabin. That is open periodically, so keep your eyes open for actually being able to go to the cabin. There's a nearby park, previously known to be named for a former Oak Ridge federal employer. What was the name of the park? And that was Carbide Park. Take a picture of the back of the sign to enter the park, and you'll see some of those pictures here from the back. And then who is the park now named for, and what was his nickname? I was surprised that everybody knew this. Clark Center, and he was called Mr. Carbide. By the way, he was a member of the Oak Ridge Rotary Club. All right, there was an alternate activity, and I'm just reading about one of them because the other one we may use again next year. The Hutchison Family Cemetery is a reminder of pre-Oak Ridge residents in the middle of a neighborhood on Caldwell Drive. We gave 5 points to the team who took a picture of the oldest headstone you could find in the cemetery. All right, one team found one from 1899. One team found one from 1896. And the oldest one that was found was from 1881 in that cemetery. To highlight our community as a vibrant mixture of the old and the new, take a moment to enjoy the little library adjacent to the cemetery. Take a picture of each of your team members holding a book from the library. 5 extra points if you can find a book written by one of our literacy lunch speakers. And we had a valiant attempt to push this one over, but only if you can tell us the year that the literacy lunch speaker spoke, and we didn't have the year. All right.
Our social group, the old part, Monday lunch group, did 4, so 2 of them are still alive. For an action.
And there's several of them that have cropped up all over town now. So you started a trend. All right. The next question, bicyclers can now ride this new pump track. At this location, one strives to circle the paved hilly terrain by pumping the bike, that is without pedaling. That is the Dirt Lab at Haw Ridge. And we gave 5 extra points if we could get a picture of bikers on the track, and then 10 extra points for a picture of a team member on a bicycle on the track. And watch the slide. We don't have all the slides keyed to each question, but so watch the slides carefully. There's another one up there. All right. What was the name of the first known regatta hosted on Melton Hill Lake in 1962? That was the Applesauce Regatta. How did it get its name? And this is also in the Oak Ridge 75th anniversary book. If you don't remember 1962, buy the book and read it. And this information is there. This was David Alspaugh. He was a coach in his gym class, couldn't say his last name. And so they started calling him Applesauce, and it was named after David. What was the name of the last regatta hosted by the Oak Ridge Rowing Association? That was the first one of the season this year. That was the Oak Ridge Louisville Cardinal Invitational. And then what is the next one, which was actually 2 weeks ago? That was the Sierra Championship Regatta on April 15th and 16th. And I was shocked going down there this year. I have never seen so many boats. They had them all the way almost to Rogers Group. They had so many boats there this year. And then we gave 5 extra points for each team member pictured in a boat. And we had some real creativity. You'll see on some of the slides, we did have one team that all put their hands on a boat. So they were on the boat, but not in the boat. Oh, there was two more things there. Looking across the river, there's a large white house once owned by Marie Wild. Her daughter, Sonia, was the understudy of what character in an original Broadway production? And that was Maria Wild, and she was the understudy for the original West Side Story on Broadway. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Sonia Wild was Maria on the original, the understudy for Maria on the original West Side Story. Who did Sonia marry and what was his claim to fame? Do we all want to say it together? Jake Butcher, okay. And we took the answers, a World's Fair financier, a gubernatorial candidate, or a bankrupt banker. All right, go to the oldest restaurant in Oak Ridge and take a group picture. That's the Jefferson Soda Fountain on Jefferson Circle here in Oak Ridge. The establishment opened in 1944, and the only time it's closed since then was in 1970 when they had a fire. They have a Y12 reference on the menu, and specifically we were looking for the Y12 breakfast bomb. All right, they also have a fat man and a little boy, but we were looking for the Y12 breakfast bomb. What Oak Ridge tourist attraction made its home in the vacant lot across the street from 1949 to 1975? That was the original American Museum of Atomic Energy. And we were specifically looking for the name Atomic because now it is called the American Museum of Science and Energy. It's so much more polite. The next question, there are 72 family and community cemeteries in the Oak Ridge area. The only grave in this one is the Prophet of Oak Ridge and is a subdivision bearing his name. Of course, that was John Hendricks, and the subdivision was Hendricks Creek. And there is one vacant lot there that has one grave in it, and that's Mr. Hendricks' grave. All right, let's see where we are there. Oh, this was a good one. Go to the oldest open elementary school in the Oak Ridge school system and take your picture enjoying your favorite school subject. And I think this was cops and robbers. Is that? I thought this was very creative here. What were the names of the other elementary schools and what is their current use? Now, the ones that we had answers for was Elm Grove, which is now Elm Grove Park, Highland View, which is now the Children's Museum and the Manhattan Project National Historical Park Visitor Contact Station, Pine Valley, which is now school administration, Glenwood, that's still used as an elementary school, but there's a new building in 1991, Woodland, which is still used as an elementary school, and Linden, which is still used as an elementary school, but it's been relocated from what is now LaSalle Park. But there were more. There was Wheat, which was relocated as part of the Manhattan Project. Scarborough, that was here pre-Oak Ridge, but it moved in 1949. Robertsville, which was opened in 1915 as an elementary school. It became Jefferson Middle School, which I did not know, or Jefferson, yeah, it became Jefferson when Jefferson Center was named. And then when Jefferson moved, when the high school moved to its current location, Jefferson moved to the old high school building and it became Robertsville Junior High, which is now Robertsville Middle School. So it came full circle, Robertsville to Jefferson, back to Robertsville. And then Cedar Hill, which is now Cedar Hill Park. And one school that's technically not in the Oak Ridge system, but it's been here for a while, is St. Mary's Catholic School, which was founded in 1950. So there are a bunch of schools here. And then these next few slides, we said as you go on your scavenger hunt, you may accumulate 5 points for a team picture, which is at least 4 people, in front of the building or sign of each of these Oak Ridge locations for the Oak Ridge Breakfast Rotary Club Foundation grant recipients. Girls Inc., the Torch building site, which nobody went to the building site, but we did have a sign in front of the Torch office, Free Medical Center, ADFAC, Keystone Adult Daycare Center, Boys and Girls Club of Oak Ridge, Emory Valley Center, Habitat for Humanity, Blossom Center, and the United Way of Anderson County. If you don't know where all those offices are, I just encourage you to go find them, because I promise none of them are in really expensive buildings. To number 43 and then stop. All right. And then we said, go to the structure now located on the site where John Hendricks, the prophet of Oak Ridge, predicted the seat of power would be located. And we gave a clue. This has been the site of government since the founding of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. Take a picture of your group in front of the sign. This was the Joe L. Evans Federal Building. At the time of his retirement in 1977, his continuous service in what elected position was longer than any other in that position from Tennessee? And that was the U.S. House of Representatives. I didn't know who Joe L. Evans was. A lot of you all may have. Who succeeded him? That was Al Gore Jr. And what year was the building named after him? I always knew it as just the federal building, but in 1984, it was named the Joe L. Evans Federal Building. The building closed for over a year in 2012 due to what? Excuse me, and that was asbestos remediation. All right, so we had one team that took a picture in front of the federal building. We need number 44.
You're not going to show the videos, are you?
Yes. Okay, this is the first video. You need to hit play on the video here. Now, this was partial credit. It's in front of the federal building.
How you do it?
We were very impressed. Okay, now that was supposed to be where in Oak Ridge do you find Oklahoma, a Blythe Spirit, and a Fiddler on the Roof? Of course, that is the Oak Ridge Playhouse, not the federal building, usually. What year was it established? In 1943. And what was its original name? That's the Little Theater of Oak Ridge. And then we said for 10 extra points, take a short video of your group singing the Broadway hit of your choice in front of the main entrance. So that was one of them. Go to 45 and play that video. How are we doing on time?
Yes. Tradition. And it is 30 seconds now.
That's it. All right, and then the next group, if you'll play number, no, 45. Oh, wait,
Where's us? Right there.
that one, number 46. There we go.
Okay. We had the words, see.
So you can see we did meet the is it fun criteria, and you also know why we don't see more at Rotary. All right, we had two stumpers. Just stop right there just a minute, Tony. Don't go to the next slide yet. We had two stumpers that none of the teams got correct. The first was, what was the first road not named after a state after Highway 58 crosses into the city limits of Oak Ridge from the west? Well, that's Oak Ridge Turnpike as you come from the west. It actually, the city limits don't cross Highway 58 until you get to Gallagher Bridge. Okay? The Pinnacle, it's not Pinnacle. Help me, the Preserve, right. The Preserve is in Oak Ridge city limits, but it starts at the driveway to the Preserve, not where it crosses Highway 58. So that was the trick. The correct answer is Bear Creek Road. All right, which is not the same as Perimeter Road. I went and drove it to be sure. Okay, for 5 extra points, tell us how many completed houses have a driveway on that street. And the answer is 0. We did have a team that got the 0 part right. All right. And then the other thing, and this is good information for all of us going up and down Oak Ridge Turnpike, how many times does the speed limit change? Going from west to east on Highway 58. And you have to watch really carefully. Within the city of Oak Ridge, the speed limit changes 13 times. And then how many times does it change from east to west? That's also 13 times. So watch the speed limit signs on Oak Ridge Turnpike. All right, Rotary has done several worthwhile projects in our town through the years. However, this very special project was completed by the Rotary Club of Oak Ridge to celebrate the 100th birthday of Rotary International, led by Bill Wilcox, who dreamed of sharing this important legacy with future generations. And that was the Oak Ridge Commemorative Walk. Who is remembered at section IVC 29? And that was, I just wrote Alvin Weinberg. I didn't write my answer down on my sheet. That was Alvin Weinberg, not Bill Wilcox, but Alvin Weinberg. And then we said, take a moment for sharing and reflection. And not all of our teams got to this question, but take a moment for sharing and reflection. For 10 extra points, take a short 30-second video telling us about someone who prompts a special memory for a member of your group.
Judy,
That's Judy.
is there a video?
There is.
And Judy was looking really good that day.
She was.
She really did.
I can't
Look
find
towards,
the video.
towards the picture.
Oh, wait.
There it is.
There it is. Sorry.
So here's my special memory. It's for Lois Weir, who was a swim coach here down at the Civic Center, so close by. And she taught my children to swim from the time they were 3.5 years old. She taught them how to become young women. She yelled at them like crazy. She helped them when they all kinds of things.
One
Anyway.
other thing, she tried to teach me how to swim and it never worked.
She was very special to us for about 20 years with 2 girls.
So let's move to,
How many people knew that commemorative walk was done as a Rotary project in our community?
so
That's why you didn't want me to have the slides.
Right.
Yeah.
well,
So
go to the,
next
and the
slide.
winner is the club foundation. We raised $5,500. You guys raised $5,500. That's wonderful. Our goal was to cover that 3,000 that you talked about, Jim, and we nearly doubled it. And so
We'll do it together.
Next slide.
All right, we want to thank everybody for your level of enthusiasm, the sense of competition, And I hope everybody did have fun that participated. Next year, we need more teams. We need more people involved. This year, the second runner-up, and we thought probably the most joyous and very positive team was the little team that could, Tony Wright. I think they had a good time. All right, the first runner-up and the team that we thought had the best real scavenging skills that actually did and went through all of the things was
Really for the second year in a row.
was the Westwood Wildcats. Jim Rushton and Jim Palmer were there.
Yay!
And then the winner, which won the team composition, that was a lot of points. The team composition, the most donations, which was a lot of points. And they had great team spirit. They all had matching t-shirts, was Team Is It Fun? Come get your trophy. And we also want to thank, we had several people that gave donations that weren't actually able to be here for the scavenger hunt. So thank you for the people that made donations in memory of Dub as well. And I understand May 1st is the cutoff for our grant recipients to put in their applications. And we've got a little extra money to give to our community. Thanks to you guys.
There should have been some other points awarded, by the way, and that was for most enthusiastic daughter of a new member, right, Matt? She was amazing. And people coming back from vacation just to do the scavenger hunt. Again, Matt Tucker's family.